Welcome to the worst of the best podcast. You wanted the best. Well, they didn't freaking make it! So here's what you get. From Canada, Ryan and
Jason. Welcome to another episode of the Worst, the Best podcast. I'm your host, Ryan. With me today, of course, is my brother, Jason. No secrets among us. Jason, how you doing today?
Doing very well, thanks. Yeah, I think we're pretty open with each other. We got a good relationship. I think we know each other well. Why do you say this?
Oh, why do I say this? Unfortunately, there are organizations in the world that are of a secretive nature. Now, look, I get it. Not everyone has to know everyone's business. There should be privacy. I work in the military. There's things that I know that are secrets that are not releasable to the public, to my family, or to you and friends or whoever. So that's normal. KFC has a secret with the recipe. It's okay to have secrets.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola has a secret recipe. That's right. But there are secret societies. So in this episode, we are going to be diving into 10 elusive clandestine societies that rarely make their way into history books. So we said, of course, Coca-Cola, KFC, government organizations. Of course, people have their secrets either to protect the organization or a larger interest. The idea is you don't want people to be harmed by information. So that's good. It's good to have secrets, a need to know, so to speak. However, there are organizations that thrive in obscurity. And we're here to unveil some of their mysteries. So, Jason, hopefully by doing this today, we aren't putting ourselves in danger by exposing some of these secret societies. And the reason why we're bringing this to people's attention is because some of these, I'm sure people have heard of. Number 10, I guarantee everyone listening has heard number 10 when we get to it. So some of these organizations people have heard of. But what Jason and I are going to do is we're going to pick what we think is the worst clandestine or secretive, obscure, secret organization, and independent of each other, we'll say why we think it's the worst. So here are the 10 best secret societies.
Before we go deep into this,
of course, yeah.
I just want to say I will not kill myself.
That's true. That's right. What's the term you're supposed to sit that's YouTube safe? What's it called again? There's a term that they use to make it YouTube safe. Unlife. I think it's called unlife or something. Unlife.
Oh, is that right? There's a term
think so. Yes, to escape the algorithm on YouTube because you can't say the word that starts with S to off yourself. Yeah. It's banned on YouTube, and I get it. They don't want people promoting that sort of thing.
Sure.
Yeah. So Jason and I will not unlife ourselves. If after this episode is released and we're both found in a ditch or in a car accident somewhere, or yeah. All right, good point, Jason. Thank you for bringing that up. So let our family and friends know this.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to begin with number 10. This is the Brotherhood of the Skull and Bones. Now, Jay, you've heard of the Skull and Bones, correct?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And just so people know, everything we're bringing up today, this is not conspiracy theory stuff. Okay. This is not these things don't exist or haven't existed. These are things that have existed.
Yeah. Alex Jones has verified all of these. We ran it past him first, and he's verified that these are all true, legit groups that run in the background of our society.
Have you seen that Alex Jones video when he went to what was the grove called? What's it called? Boy, we should do an Alex Jones episode one day.
Yeah, what?
Something Grove.
Yeah.
Bohemian Grove. Have you seen the video of his recorded the Bohemian Grove ceremony or play or theater or whatever it was? Now, in your opinion, do you believe he truly snuck in to film that? Or is this all an elaborate hoax? Because it's so over the top. It's so crazy. The video is so crazy.
He's talked to people that were there.
What do you make of that ceremony or play or what's going on? Anyways, we're not necessarily going to talk about Bohemian Grove. Maybe we'll do an episode. You know what? Let's save it. Maybe one day we'll do the top 10 facts or whatever you want to say.
Surrounding the Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, something to that effect. Because I think the Bohemian Grove might be one worth investigating. But today we're doing Secret Society.
Ryan, put a pin in that.
I'll put that on our board that we have when we collaborate our topics. All right. So again, I'm going to start with number 10, Skull and Bones. Established in 1832 at a renowned institution, the Brotherhood of the Skull and Bones remains one of the most covert student clubs, recognized for its concealed headquarters, the Crypt. That's what they call it, the Crypt. This exclusive organization ushers in just 15 new members annually, maintaining a highly restricted circle of fewer than 800 living affiliates. Of course, we all know that George Bush and George W. were part of this group. Not too long ago, a media team, Jason, equipped with discreet recording equipment, captured a startling initiation ritual. So I'd recommend people to Google that, take a look. So, aspiring members endured a peculiar ceremony which involved exchanging unsettling banter and performing symbolic acts, including bowing to a skull at the feet of senior participants. Reports also allude to eerie gatherings where participants donned peculiar attire, reciting cryptic mantras. Members assemble routinely in a designated building they effectively called the crypt. According to an academic expert, membership details were veiled until the 1970s, but the unique traditions have been revealed or released to the public. Over the years, numerous notable individuals have emerged from the folds of this secret society, giving rise to an array of unconfirmed conjectures. This is where the conspiracy stuff would come in for people. One prevailing belief implies a covert link to a government agency. The agency, however, has ardently dismissed any such connection as the CIA, even addressing it in light of the release of a popular film. The film was called Skulls or Skull and Bones or something like that. It came out in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yet the truth remains buried in secrecy, of course. Yeah, Skull and Bones, Jason. Student Secret Society. What do you think?
It feels like it's a very legit group of people. What that allows this group of people to do after they become
Yeah.
a member of Skull and Bones, that's where you can go down many different rabbit holes chasing what it is that these people do after the fact.
Yeah.
And why are they chosen initially? And why is it this one particular school? Like, if I went to the University of Victoria, I would never be tapped to be a part of the Skull and Bones.
So, of course, if people don't know, and I didn't say it, but yes, the Skull Bones Society is held at or founded at Yale University. So that's where you have to go. So, like Jason's saying, if we went to the university here in Victoria, we're never going to be a part of that group. So it's very interesting that you have to be a student at Yale, and then I guess only 15 of those students get to go in. Now, I admit I would love to be selected to be a part of this group. Just to say that I'm part of the group, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's probably what it is nowadays more than anything.
Yeah, I can't really rattle off all the things that I've read or learned about it over the years, but the very beginnings of it is very interesting. Is the skull that they worship, isn't that Geronimo? The whole beginnings of it, why did they start this group? And they're just creating allegiances and alliances to help further themselves, and it just carried on.
So Skull and Bones, Jay, does have a reputation for stealing keepsakes from other
Yeah.
Yale societies or campus buildings and strive to outdo each other's crooks. Like you're saying, Jay, the society has been accused of possessing the stolen skulls of Martin Van Buren and Geronimo and Pancho Villa. Whether that skull that media team saw being worshipped or bowed to was Geronimo or not, we'll never know. They have taken famous skulls, yeah. Okay, Skull and Bones, yeah, famous one. A lot of rumors about clandestine activity or connections to CIA and the Illuminati, and there's a whole
Yeah, they start there. And I guess the genesis of this idea was, hey, we're at this prestigious school. We create an allegiance with each other. And then when we leave this school and go into the real world, then we help each other outside of the university. One person gets in a position of power or authority, then you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And that allegiance carries on into the bigger scope of the world. And that just has carried on since then.
and we don't know if it truly does happen. That's the other thing. We don't know if that happens. That's where we'll never know. That's a
Yeah.
conspiracy side, which might be another episode going through some of the conspiracies behind the actual. So when we go over these secret societies, Jay, so just so they know, we're not going into the conspiracies that these societies necessarily created, so much as these societies exist and this is what they're known for, or as
Right.
much as is verifiable known for, is a better way of saying it. All right, so that's the verified parts of that. So what do you got for there for number 9?
So we delve into the eerie world of the Leopard Society. Have you ever heard of this one, right?
No, now we're getting to a lot of these I haven't heard of other than number
Okay.
10, Leper Society. What's
Oh,
that?
interesting. Okay,
Have
Leopard
you?
Society. No,
Okay.
no. A secretive group associated with a series of gruesome deaths in West and Central Africa during the 19th and 20th centuries. In the 1920s and 40s, this society was accused of being behind a string of fatalities, resulting in the execution of several alleged members by colonial authorities. Moving into the 40s, over 200 deaths were linked to this cult in Nigeria, leading to the execution of 77 individuals. However, concrete information about the Leper Society remains scarce, making it challenging to separate fact from misconceptions rooted in historical racism and colonial anxieties. Draped in the leopard skins and wielding metal claws, members of this group reportedly carried out brutal attacks, mutilations, and even cannibalistic acts. Their belief was that consuming human flesh and blood would grant them supernatural strength.
So this one's very interesting. This was an earlier one, and it sounds like one that doesn't really exist today anymore. As late as 1940s, this kind of activity in this area isn't happening anymore in Western or Central Africa. But the idea that they would drape themselves in leopard skins and have metal claws, I can see this happening in the sense of if they're going after colonial authorities, and especially if they're people that aren't part of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, off with you. You're not wanted here. We don't want you here. And it's just almost like a scare tactic, too. Like you'd be scared to see this group of people coming in like animal costumes and metal claws. And whether they ate the human flesh, maybe they just put it in their mouths or something and spat it out as sort of a scare tactic. I don't think they really sat around the table eating it for dinner.
No, I can envision just a group of people who are pushing back against people who are taking over their country or feeling like they're being taken over. And yeah, basically taking things into their own hands and agreeing that this is the tactics that they're going to use. And they're going to probably obviously create secrecy around it because they don't want to divulge who they are and have authorities come after them or the revenge after them. So it would be a secretive experience. I can just envision, hey, we are in this together. We don't talk about this outside of this group. We're going to enact these brutal killings, but we swear an oath to each other that
Right.
what we do isn't going to be discussed outside of what we do and who we're doing this with.
So they're known as the Leopard Men, and it seems like they were only active between 1890 and 1930. And a lot of the allegations, especially regarding cannibalism, seems to have made popular or perpetuated through Western literature. So how accurate that could have been, or is a way of undermining their activity or their cause, so to speak, by saying they're just barbaric and uncivilized. There's not a lot of information on it other than maybe what's been revealed by the survivors of these encounters. But they are
That's the
different.
tactic of secret
Right.
societies, though.
True.
It's a secret. What you don't know, then you're trying to create a conclusion as to what you're experiencing, and you just what you don't know, and that's the purpose of the secret societies. And like the legend grows bigger than what it might be.
All right. Skull and Bones and the Leopard Society. Number 8 introduces us to the Hermetic. Hermetic, in simple terms, means a belief system or philosophy based on the teachings and writings attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, a legendary figure in ancient history. Hermeticism encompasses various ideas, but one of its central principles is the idea that there is a hidden, deeper wisdom and knowledge that can lead to spiritual enlightenment and personal transformation. It often involves studying and exploring topics like alchemy, astrology, and mysticism to gain insight into the mysteries of the universe and one's own self. So, Hermetic is connected to a quest for deep spiritual understanding and personal growth. So, this order, again, is called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Now, this one sounds a little bit less scary. This mysterious society, however, thrived in the 19th and 20th centuries, focusing on the exploration of the occult, metaphysics, and paranormal phenomena, drawing from various mystical traditions such as tarot, astrology, and Enochian magic. Now, what is Enochian magic, Jason? It's a type of magical practice that involves, this is trippy, that involves communication with angels or divine beings through a special language and symbols. It's named after the biblical figure Enoch, who was said to have communicated with angels. In Enochian magic, practitioners use specific words, phrases, and symbols to connect with these higher beings for guidance, protection, or other mystical purposes. It's a belief that by using these special tools, one can tap into higher spiritual realms and access hidden knowledge or power. They played a pivotal role in shaping modern magical systems. So the Golden Dawn was structured with hierarchy and initiation processes reminiscent of the Masonic lodges. In the First Order, members delved into historical philosophy and personal development, immersing themselves in the study of astrology, tarot divination, geomancy, and Renaissance magic. Now, geomancy is very interesting. You've heard the word, I'm sure, but you probably don't know what it is. I don't mean that as an insult to the listeners and to you, Jason, but you ever see Willow? Remember the movie Willow?
Yes.
And one of the leader wizards of the Willow clan or whatever, of the Little People clan. Anyways, he had the chicken bones and he'd say, "Let me consult the bones." And he would toss
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bones. Remember? The bones
Yeah.
said, "Go this way," but it's supposed to be the other. Anyways, they made a fun out of it, but it was a fun little sequence. But that's geomancy. It's basically the scattering of things and interpreting the
The
patterns.
randomness,
Yes, the
the
randomness of
patterns that come out of the random
Yeah,
act. Okay.
that's geomancy. Yeah. So the Second Order was dedicated to the practice of magic, including the intriguing concept of astral travel. There's a whole other episode on astral travel that we could do. I mean, there are claims of this. There's claims of the government training people to be able to do this. There's people who swear they can do this. Yeah, I don't know.
Is that the remote viewing idea?
Yeah, the idea that you can be like
Yeah.
me here in Ottawa, I can astral travel to where you are in Victoria and look around and see what's going on over there
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
house.
These programs, specifically through the military, have tapped into this.
Yep.
It seems very legit that there are people who have very high accuracy in the process of. It sounds like remote viewing to me. That's the
Yeah, that's
wording
just
I
what
would
it is. That's what
use.
it is.
Yeah. I've listened to some podcasts that or in some YouTube videos, actually 2 weeks ago, of a guy that was a part of the CIA using it and the tests that they would do to confirm somebody has the ability to do these things, and the accuracy of them performing in these tests
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. Now, the part that I didn't quite get is how exactly, outside of all the other ways in which military can gather information and intelligence, using remote viewing seems a little bit antiquated when we have such a high rate of surveillance states and ability to surveil.
Right.
Oh, let's confirm with the guy that can remote view that the target is where we actually think it is based on a whole bunch of other pieces of intelligence. I don't know, but seems like it's possible.
And then lastly, the Third Order, this is the one that's even shrouded more in secrecy, is governed by mysterious leaders who guided the lower orders through discreet communication. So there you go. That again is the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
Can you tell me what year was this approximately?
Thrive in the 19th
Yeah.
and 20th centuries. Whether it's still thriving now or around, I'm sure it is. I get some of it, meaning finding your best self, focusing on yourself, deep spiritual understanding and personal growth. I'm all behind that stuff.
Sure. That's but since the dawn of time, people have tried
Sure.
to figure out the meaning of life and how to improve our existence. Yeah.
But the tapping into paranormal stuff and talking to angels, that stuff just scares me. I don't want to talk to ghosts.
You don't have to join, Ryan.
Okay.
This secret society isn't for you then.
Oh, you know what? That should be our worst pick. Which is you have to join 9 of them. Which one do you refuse?
Don't you pick?
Refuse to join the most?
Yeah. I find it intriguing. It's interesting to see people who feel like they're having these experiences and it feels very real to them.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's also at a time where our understanding of, I don't want to throw this around, but like science, right? There just didn't have a full, they're not able to connect dots as to why is there lightning, for an example. And then you come to a conclusion as to why we have lightning. based on no other pieces of information because there is nothing for them to gather that information from. Science hasn't been able to answer that for them. So that's why I was wondering what year these were.
That is an interesting one. I really like that one. What do you got there for the next one?
Yeah, 7 here is we delve into the intriguing story of the Molly Maguire, a secret society with roots in Ireland in the 1840s. Originating as a response to unfair treatment by landowners, their members conceal their identities by donning women's clothing and darkening their faces with burnt cork.
So they cross-dress and blackface.
They'd be canceled today.
They
I
would
mean,
definitely. The Molly Maguire group, I don't think they're thriving today.
now, fast forward to the United States, an American branch, primarily comprising Irish Catholic miners, emerged in Pennsylvania. These American Mollies were driven by a dual purpose to protest harsh working conditions and exploitative employment practices, and to resist being conscripted into the Union Army during the Civil War. They were alleged to have targeted their employers, assassinating 24 foremen and supervisors during the 1860s and 1870s.
Wow.
However, it was their efforts in labor organizing that ultimately led to their undoing. When their activities began to threaten the profits of the Reading Railroad, the company's president dispatched a detective to infiltrate the group. Following a lengthy 2.5-year investigation, the same railroad president assumed the role of their chief prosecutor in a series of trials that resulted in 20 men being executed. According to the historian Kevin Kenny, the trials were marked by flagrant injustice. The prosecutors were largely associated with the railroad or mining companies, and there were no Irish Catholics on the jury, and the evidence presented by the detective was highly questionable. Eventually, John J. Kehoe, the reputed leader of the Mollies, received a full pardon from the governor of Pennsylvania more than a century after his hanging in December 1878.
Wow. That'd be a fun movie.
Yeah, I
They
actually thought this was the beginning of where unions came from.
probably, because this was 1878, where John J. Kehoe was hung in 1878. I would say, yeah, probably that whole idea of unionization, because basically the Reading Railroad Company, they were giving poor working conditions, as always, to turn a profit. And these men were like, hey, you can't treat us this way. And they went out and look, I'm not saying you have to kill the foreman, but look, we've all had a bad boss. You know what's funny when people die? It's always, oh, they were the greatest person. They were the best father, best husband. Not everyone can be that. There's some people who are just jerks. What bit of a tangent. You can actually read about those. I've seen them, but they're quite good. They're on the internet where people do just what I'm talking about. They'll say Charlie's dead and he was a jerk and he was an a-hole. We're glad he's gone. That's the eulogies when they publish it in the paper and stuff.
Yeah, somebody has told me about their own family member where people were dishonest
Mm.
about their experiences with that particular family
Oh,
member.
because they were dead.
Yeah, well, at the funeral.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah, I was like, yeesh.
right. Yeah, this time these people they felt they were probably truly mistreated. They're like, fine, off with your heads with these foremen. But however, the leader got put on trial, and then the trial was a sham, essentially to shut down these people saying the prosecutors, everyone was part of the railroad company. That's insane. That's a complete conflict of interest where everyone from the jury to the judge is in the pocket. It just goes to show you the people they were dealing with. So my hat's off to that branch. I get their fight in the sense of they have to work. They're working for the railroad company, but don't treat us like animals. We're also human beings, and they fought back, and then in the end they lost, but it looks like things did change.
It reminded me in some ways the way that the Leper Society got together. They saw that the colonial people that were infiltrating their country, and they're like, we don't like these things that are being pushed on us.
Mhm.
So we're going to fight back. We're going to get a group of people who are willing to maybe go to extreme measures and fight back on. Yeah, we don't want to go to those extremes, but there is a
Yeah.
pushback, and certain
There's a
people.
push.
There's only so much that people are wanting to experience in life, and we know life isn't going to be easy, and it's not going to be always feel fair or whatever, or be fair.
They weren't just a murdering band of people. They probably felt this isn't what we signed up for in our where we're living right now. We're fighting back. That's an interesting one. Yeah. Okay. Coming in at number 6 is the Golden Dawn. Now, don't be confused with what I just gave the Hermetic of the Golden Dawn. This is just called the Golden Dawn. This was formed by Dr. William Robert Woodman, William Wynne Westcott, and Samuel Lydon McGregor were the creators of this mystical order. The Golden Dawn's belief system draws from a blend of influences, including Christian mysticism, ancient Egyptian religion, Freemasonry, alchemy, magic, and Renaissance literature, among others. Notably, figures like William Yeats and Aleister Crowley were counted among its members. The foundational texts of the order are referred to as the cipher documents. Now, these documents encompass a collection of 60 folios detailing a variety of magical rituals. This is the point where I'm like, come on, is real magic being done here?
Oh, yes. How do you keep your members, Ryan, if something real doesn't actually happen?
What are they really tapping? You've got 60 different spells. I would like to just try one. Nothing's. I got nothing here. You got anything there, William Yeats? Why do you try?
You have to believe it's the placebo effect,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Like you have a belief system, and you're invested in that belief system, and your belief system can't be wrong. And so when somebody says you're feeling sleepy, you're like, oh yeah, I am. Wow, that spell worked. You're tricking yourself.
All right. So the cipher documents, Jason, served as a foundational text for the Golden Dawn's teachings, and their specific content and interpretations could vary among different individuals and orders within the Golden Dawn tradition. The documents were written in code to maintain secrecy. So some of the things that they delved into was ritual magic, divination, alchemy, Kabbalah, elemental magic, and spiritual development. In summary, though, Jay, the Hermeticism that we talked about earlier, it's a broader philosophical and spiritual tradition, while the Golden Dawn is a specific organization that incorporated Hermetic and other esoteric elements into its teachings and practices. So these documents that we're talking about, Jay, they continue to be shrouded in controversies. It's essential to consider the disputed nature of their origins. So this one might have warranted more investigations, but the key thing with the Golden Dawn is those documents. But they were written in secrecy and code. I couldn't find any of the documents themselves or what's actually written in them or any spells that they have. But
That's how good they are, Ryan.
yeah, I guess so.
They've evaded even the internet.
Yeah. So that's a fun one. At the very least, when people listen to this podcast, they want to go dig into more of the 60 folios of the Golden Dawn and the ciphers that are found within. By all means, go research and cast a spell and let us know what happened. All
I
right.
think you probably find that on the dark web. If you went to the dark web,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
that's where it all is. What I just find interesting about some of these ones that use magic and spells, they were caught between understanding the world the way that it actually is. They're leaving the world of magic of the dark ages, and it's carried on a little bit, and then now they're caught between a more scientific understanding of how the world really operates.
Yeah.
It's like a carryover.
Yeah. They're trying to make sense of the old way of the world, and science explained a lot.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got for the next one?
So this is a group that most people will have heard about. Bilderberg.
Yeah.
What sets this group apart is its distinct lack of official membership. It's essentially a label for a gathering of influential individuals who convene annually in utmost secrecy, often with a robust military and government-sponsored security.
Mm.
The topics of discussion remain concealed, leading us in the dark about their conversations. These gatherings resemble conferences typically hosted at luxurious five-star hotels around the world, and the inaugural meeting occurred in 1954 at the Hotel Bilderberg in the Netherlands.
Oh, I see.
The original idea stemmed from a group of individuals, including Polish political advisor Joseph Rettinger. Concerned about the rise of anti-American sentiments in Western Europe, they proposed an international conference aimed at fostering understanding between the cultures of the United States and Western Europe. While the agenda and participant list are not publicly disclosed by the group, it's unclear whether such details are intentionally kept confidential. The contents of these meetings remain veiled, and attendants pledged to maintain secrecy about the proceedings. The group justifies its confidentiality by asserting that it allows for open and candid discussions without concern about media interpretation. As you can imagine, the Bilderberg group is perpetually embroiled in controversy and surrounded by an array of conspiracy theories. The allure of what happens behind closed doors is undeniable, but their secrets remain closely guarded.
But would you like to be a fly on the wall for one of those meetings?
I would, just to see, is what they're talking about really a concern? Or is it just private? Or is it just like a big think tank of huge corporations that just try to further their global influence? Like, it reminds me of like
Right.
first World Economic Forum. How can we influence the world to benefit us as the people at the top? So how can we manipulate policies, governments, laws? How can we help do that so that it furthers our benefit? Not really to help anybody else, but the bottom line. That's how I view it.
Is there anything really going on that's really going on, or is it just because it is a secret that we create this mystery around it, or is it just a bunch of rich people talking, or is it like the rich people are talking about what war is next? How do we stop or control this war, or who do we give money to this military power? I don't know, man. They got to have a meeting somewhere. They got to meet somewhere. And I wonder how much security screening is done, because if it's at a hotel or whatever, who goes in and makes sure there's no wiretapping, a microphone on the wall, listening.
Yeah, I know this is something, no surprise here, that Alex Jones in the past he's riled against. It seems like that Bohemian Grove group is quite attached to the Bilderberger group. There's a crossover there, which would make sense. Hey, look, there's corporations and groups of people that are so powerful and unfortunately influential because money, that our society is manipulated in ways that, yeah, by people who are in power. And you're not going to that group unless you have power and money.
Here I got
You're
something
not
here.
invited.
The Bilderberg annual meeting is now held in Austria. It's billed as the most secretive meeting in the world. There's no minutes taken, no press reports, no interviews. There's people who obviously protest this meeting, so they know it like we just know now. It's held in Austria, apparently. So there's signs out here: say no to the Bilderberg, New World Order, get out, stop Bilderberg Mafia. So people accuse it of being the New World Order. So the public does know about this. US and European business and political leaders attend. These are some of the people that have attended in the past. We got Prince Charles, Obama. This year, we've got Harry Kissinger and Eric Schmidt. Some of the topics are cybersecurity, Russia, terrorism. Yeah, the wars are going on in the world, things like that, of course.
There's one thing to have groups of people get together and let's just chit chat, but to be protected by military,
Yeah.
that's the part I don't understand. Who is funding the military, and why is the military of Austria feeling the need to protect this meeting? That's what makes me more concerned than what they might be talking about.
That one's a fun one to delve into. Again, maybe another episode we can get into whatever the internet has, top 10
Yeah,
things discussed or exposed, or maybe there's nothing and maybe it's just that secretive. Okay.
but again, you don't need the military to protect a meeting of nothing.
You shouldn't. Yeah.
They're manipulating the world that we live in, and obviously to benefit
Oh, yeah.
them.
Yeah. We have no say in this. They do.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to number 4. We encounter the Independent Order of Odd Fellows. I love this name, the Independent Order of Odd Fellows. The term Odd Fellows encompasses an international collection of societies with origins tracing back to London in the 1700s. The Independent Order of Odd Fellows, an offshoot of this historical tradition, still exists today. In 2001, this organization made headlines due to its peculiar initiation practices when a maintenance worker at an Odd Fellows Lodge in Los Angeles made a startling discovery. Human remains were found concealed behind a wall and were subsequently seized by law enforcement. The nature of their presence still remains a mystery, however, leaving us to wonder whether it was connected to a ritual or some undisclosed occurrence. Uncovering the truth is a path I don't think Jason and I want to do ourselves. I don't want to get mixed up with these guys. So, some of their history, their emblem features 3 interlinked rings representing the organization's 3 foundational principles: friendship, love, and truth. They've done some charitable work. The Odd Fellows are involved in various charitable activities, including supporting orphans, the elderly. They also contribute to disaster relief efforts and community development projects. They have lodges. They serve as community centers and meeting places. They do have their own initiation. So, like any other fraternal organization, they have some initiation rituals. These rituals are meant to instill moral and ethical values and promote personal growth. So, in addition to friendship, love, and truth, they teach charity, benevolence, and the importance of helping others in times of need. They accept individuals from all backgrounds and beliefs, and they do not require members to adhere to a specific religious faith. They are welcome, both men and women. Their organization's rituals and symbols often draw on allegorical and symbolic elements to convey moral lessons and values. Like any long or old organization, they have faced controversies. But in its early history, they did practice racial and gender discrimination. Some lodges excluded African Americans and women from membership. That has changed over time. They do have a high level, again, that's why they're on the list, of secrecy in some of their rituals and activities. I couldn't find anything what they do. So this secrecy has led to suspicion and speculation in the past of some nefarious things that go on during that. They have seen a decline in their membership. They almost sound Freemasonry to some degree in that sense. It's almost like a church without being religious.
Right.
Sounds like they're just a community of people that get together and teach peace and love type thing, but they don't worship a godlike figure as far as I can tell. But there's still a fraternity. It's weird. There's always that initiation. There always has to be some sort of initiation. Why? Why the handshakes and the high fives and the slitting of wrists? I don't get all that stuff. It must be a human thing. I don't know. It's weird that you couldn't just teach peace, love, and charity without having to do initiation rites. How does it affect your behavior, just being a good person? Or why the secrets? Why any secrets? I don't get it. It's a club. At the end of they're all clubs.
Yeah. There's a psychology behind it, obviously.
Sure, we're not smart enough to delve into that psychology, but yeah, the sense of belonging, exclusive belonging to a club. I guess there's some sort of draw to that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Order of Nine Angels. Have you heard of this one?
No, I've never heard of it. I thought it was like a motorcycle group or something.
The group, established in the 1960s but gaining wider recognition in the 90s, claims allegiance to Satanism and has garnered attention due to their anti-Semitic ideologies and activism.
I wonder if they're a buzz right now.
Yeah. Their beliefs encompass the notion of human sacrifice as a means to purge weakness and an ambition to conquer the masses. Members view this as an individual pursuit of excellence, driven by the study of what they perceive Satan offers. Intriguingly, recent findings suggest that this group exhibits unique demographics compared to other satanic organizations. It boasts a higher proportion of female supporters, more women with children, a comparatively older membership, and individuals from relatively more affluent backgrounds. So, if anything, they seem to embrace diversity in their own distinct way.
Oh, wow. There you go. As long as you're not of the Jewish faith, I think you're good to go. So some of their beliefs, Jay, of course, includes elements of Satanism, dark magic, the promotion of violence and radical actions. The group's writings advocate individualism, amorality, and the pursuit of personal excellence through experiences that challenge societal norms. They've been criticized, obviously, because they promote hate, violence, and dangerous ideologies. It's not really a centralized organization, but more of a loose network of individuals and groups who share its beliefs. Its legal status activities can vary by location.
Depends on where you live, whether
Yeah.
murdering people is okay or not.
Yes, they have extreme and controversial beliefs. So if you want to join them, you can. I'm not sure what their website is, but I'm sure you can Google it and join them if that interests you. All right. My last one is number 2. It's the Hellfire Club. So this club is situated in Dublin. It began as a hunting lodge frequented by the city's elite during the 1700s. See sometimes the common theme here with all these clubs.
Yeah.
It's money and power, and what can you bring to our club type thing. Its ruins grace the summit of Montpellier Hill, overlooking the adjacent Massey Woods. The shroud of secrecy that enveloped the club gave rise to speculation that its members were practitioners of Satanism and devil worship. In this particular society, the leader held the title of the King of Hell. It's a good band name, or a good song title, I should say, for and often adorned the guise of Satan, complete with horns and wings and hooves. That was Halloween. They're dressed up for Halloween. Meetings featured an eerie tradition of setting a place for the devil himself in hopes of his attendance. Man, he didn't show up again. He sucks. A plethora of chilling stories surround the Hellfire Club, including accounts of black masses, animal sacrifices, and even human rituals. One of the most notorious tales involves a stranger who joined the club members for a game of cards. When a card fell to the floor, he bent down to retrieve it, revealing cloven hooves in place of feet, leaving everyone in shock. Another tale revolves around a young farmer who, out of curiosity, attended one of the club's clandestine gatherings. He left the next morning trembling and terrified and unable to speak, and seemingly plagued by memory loss for the rest of his life. So there you go, some urban tales out of this group. But who
Sounds
knows?
like the early beginnings of the Bohemian Grove. Like they just have these
Yeah, that's right.
play, and then you have this kid that can't decipher that if he's seeing something that's real, like they just trick themselves. It's like
Yeah.
watching a scary movie and you actually being scared, but go, okay, but it's just a movie. So how scared can you actually be when it's not real?
What do you think? Bored rich people?
Yeah. They got nothing else to do.
I think that's what it is. Honestly, poor people don't have time for this. The working, the farmers, the people that are in the fields. I don't have time to put on hooves and play cards, okay? And have these like orgies and things. Like we don't have time for this. I gotta go
Well,
milk the
then
cows, and
be poor the rest of your life then, Ryan.
I guess so.
If you don't want to be like us, then
Most of these are privileged things. You almost have to be in a privileged position to be a part of this group. Even if I was like a billionaire, like I'd be like, yeah, I got an invitation. I'd be, I can't
I
do
don't
it.
want to drink blood today.
I don't feel like drinking blood. Is that okay? No child sacrifice, please. I'm good. I'm good. All right, Jay, you've got the last one.
Okay. The German Thule Society. This society, established in August 1919 in Munich, harbored a rather direct approach to their vision of a new world order, population reduction through the termination of lives. Thule members engaged in a range of unsettling practices from sexual magic to racist chants and black magic. They were also notorious for participating in supernatural displays where they sought the guidance of demons. Rumors persist that a demonic ritual, possibly involving the future German leader, played a role in shaping his transformation into the sadistic ruler known to the world later on.
Which German leader are we talking about?
Hitler? Unsurprisingly, getting entangled with such a group would be a risk most wouldn't dare to take. Obviously, a horrific secret society to be a part of.
This one almost takes the cake. So there you go, folks. Those are the 10 secret societies. We now have to pick what we think is the worst one. Oh boy, there's some humdingers here. So a lot of this, of course, is like the Thule Society. Sure, they wanted reduction in the termination of lives. Did they actually do it? I don't know. A lot of it, I call like saber rattling.
Yeah, we have these crazy ideas and we're going to
exactly.
revolutionize the world, and nothing comes of
Nothing
it.
happens. The world continues. To a certain degree, life just goes on. I'm still going to work on Monday. I got a family to feed. I got things to do. I don't know what you want me to say or do. And so there seems to be a lot of saber rattling with these elite people. So even with the Munich one, sure, I get to practice sexual magic. Not too crazy about doing racist chants. I guess that's what you got to do when you're part of this group. So I think my pick for the worst one is the one that you had, Jay, the Order of the Nine Angels, and they're still around. And their belief system encompasses the notion of human sacrifice as a means to purge weakness. I don't know if I can just stand around while that's happening. A lot of this other stuff is odd, and the occult and magic and secrecy and racism maybe, but the idea of just like literally killing somebody to better myself spiritually, I gotta admit, this one might be the hardest one to join.
Fair enough. That's actually the one I was going to pick too.
Sure.
That one just it actually seemed pretty legit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is
The last one that we just spoke of, this number one, that's a very close second. But like
of
you say,
course
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
it led to Nazism, I believe. It's the idea that it led to some of Hitler's idea of getting rid of the lesser lives of what he considered to be lesser races of humans.
It's hard to say. Yeah, but based on the rules that we have, we can only pick one.
It's the worst
I
one.
guess
It's the worst one.
it's the worst of the yeah.
Because it's the most recent and it's still around probably, or it sounds like as late as 1990s. And yeah, don't come after us, Nine Angels, Order of Nine Angels. Please don't come after us. We're just saying you're the worst one of this group. I will say the best one, the one I would like to join. Here's a kind of a flip side, more of a positive note. I think the one I would like to, the Bilderberg group. I want to go to the meetings. I want to be a fly on the wall and see what they're talking about. Well, my guess is a lot of it would be very boring.
It's just a lot of, I think,
Political
hack slapping.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
great job! You're doing amazing.
Putin,
Or like General Electric, we love your new light bulb. It's just revolutionary, and
Right.
like whoever's involved in this group, it's just I probably a lot of backslapping and
Right.
just the military presence makes me feel like it's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
You don't need military security if you're in nothing.
All right. Thanks everyone to join us for this episode. Thanks to those secret societies who may have watched this with us. Please go easy on us. So just remember, we're just reporting the news, man. We're just reporting it. Don't find us.
Don't cast a spell on us.
Yeah, don't cast any of those 60 spells that you have wrapped up there. Remember, in front of every silver lining, there's a cloud. And today, it was the Order of the Nine Angels.